and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We are two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and the community of knitters that surround us. And we do it all with a little twist of both the frivolous and the frugal. I'm Dawn. I'm one of the sisters, obviously. I am fourth in 8 in the, did I say that right? I'm fourth of 8 in the birth order, and I am not frugal. How is that for a twist?
That's a good twist. You're so spontaneous. And I am Frugal Miss Penny. I am the oldest of the 8 siblings. We just have a heartfelt welcome and thank you to our returning viewers. It is just pleasant to have you participating in our Ravelry and YouTube threads. We enjoy that, and we enjoy you making time to watch our podcast. And for those of you who are first-time viewers, welcome. I know that our viewing time is limited, so Dawn and I sincerely appreciate you making time to give us a try. Now, we're hoping everyone gleans a nugget or two from today's episode 18. So grab your knitting, your most effective note-taking device, and your sense of humor. Take it away, Dawn, for episode 18.
So what is around your neck?
It is actually called the Dotty Cashmere Cowl. Look at this.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
You know, I knit this, maybe a couple of years ago. It is a pattern by Miyoko Cancro, and it is knit out of Behind the Pines Sienna base. And it was one of Miss Bobby's Yarn Club selections.
Wow.
It's a very easy pattern. I will tell you though, because of the tonal variations, you lose the little dots.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I think they would have popped up nicer in a solid color. But yeah, it's just pleasant. Yeah, just slam it around your neck and off you go.
And there's cashmere in there. Really?
Well,
right.
Not really. You know what I knit it out of? I knit it out of her base, and it's just super wash merino.
Oh, because you said cashmere.
Well, that's in the title of the pattern, Dawn. Can you imagine me buying cashmere?
Why, yes, I can. Why, no, I can't. I cannot tell a lie.
Nope, I can imagine you buying it, but not me.
We're going to have to change the name of our podcast. She bought cashmere.
No, don't change it yet. So what's around your neck?
Oh, this is called the Moho. Look at it, it's all crooked. Like, okay, did I not look before? It's the Moho. Look at this. Like, what is this? It looks. I can't tell you what it looks like.
God, don't.
Okay.
Don't go there.
It looks like a male part. Okay. This was, I think, March of 18. The Ply Podcast ladies did a knit along for this cowl, and it's a scarf. I guess not a cowl. And I knit it in Lorna's laces in their sock base, and I think the color was called Splattershot.
Fun.
Yeah, and we laughed because you start knitting it at this end, and we were all knitting it. We thought, it looks like a thong. Why are we knitting a thong? You wouldn't want to knit it in public. Okay. But I don't wear it very often because it's small for me. So it acts more like a bib on me. But I have to show you this. I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it. There's a mistake.
What?
Yep.
Let me see.
Let's see it. You see it?
Yep, I sure do.
Yeah.
Down in the corner.
Let me put it on my chest. Like that needs more attention. Okay. Right there. There's that whole line that's off.
Now that's just wild.
I must have just not followed the pattern, but I couldn't believe it. So, not that you want to know what I've learned this week, but one should hold up your knitting once in a while and look at it. Because when look, it's maybe a little more noticeable. It is from that side.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's the wrong side then, I'm guessing?
No, it's the really wrong side. So scrunch up your knitting so you can't see the mistake.
Absolutely.
And this is so small. Brianna, act surprised when you get this for Christmas. What do you see? What is this? These little...
I don't know.
They look like appendages.
Oh, here we go. Syllabication, big words, appendages.
Well, that's better than penis. So,
but that's anyway. I'm not going there either, Dawn. Okay. I just wanted to share. By the way, that is cute. I like it.
oh yeah, I'm glad I found it again. It was in my closet.
I always wear it as a babushka,
Okay,
a headscarf.
that would be attractive.
When you were a young lady.
Yes.
Purl is sporting the very first cardigan I ever knit.
Oh, absolutely.
As you can see it, I've kind of got it draped over her fixed arms, so I'm not going to take it off. But it was this pattern. It is the Knitting Pure and Simple pattern, and it is the top-down cardigan. I have to tell you, great, great pattern for first-time garment knitters. I knitted out of Plymouth Encore and probably spent more on the buttons than I did on the yarn. But anyway, very nice. I have worn it. I knit it back in 2002.
Really? And it's still in great shape.
Oh, yeah. It does pill a little bit. Just take your gleaner and remove those pills. But yeah.
And you know, it's been a while since I've seen patterns sold like that. Do you remember when we used to buy them like that as opposed to Ravelry? The knit stores all had them.
I know. And I just have to tell you, I was thinking about this this morning. I'm frugal because I base things on value. So when I look at things, it not only has to match my value system, but it has to be of value. And I certainly like those patterns that were printed on cardstock. They had actual pictures on them. I could touch them. I could write on them, as opposed to something digital, which I'm sure you can edit as well, given the software that you're using. But I really still buy them if I can. I still rummage through them, and I will support those because I do like those.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you, what's off your needles this week?
Well, it's been a productive week. So
Ooh.
Tip of the hat to me. Actually, the first thing that I have off my needles this week is Anker's hat. And this is by Knit. It's in Cascade 220 Superwash in the Jet colorway. And I was pleased. I thought it was very true to size. I knitted on a size 6. So knitters, if you tend to be a tight knitter like me, I bet you could go up to a size 7 on this. If I were to ever knit it again, I would go to a size 7. So this is one of my 45 hats, 45 designers project. And it is number 11 of the hats I've knit so far.
So, you know, in your Ravelry show notes, that'd be a great thing to write down. That if you're a tight knitter, or if you knit that again, what you would do is move up a needle size. So
yeah, that's a very good suggestion. I will do that. What about you? What's off your needles this week?
My June UFO.
Your June? Oh, they're done. Look at those. Dawn, they're just fun. They make you want to giggle, don't they?
Yeah, they are fun. So I started these Christmas Eve of 2018. You and I cast on socks that night, I think. Mm-hmm. So this is a yarn I bought at ZK 2018. And it is by Show Me Yarns. And I made a mistake last episode. I said I thought they were from the Twin Cities. But Show Me Yarns, they're from Missouri.
Show Me State. That makes sense.
Yeah. So Jungle Bungle is the colorway. And I was on their site the other day just looking for other yarn, and I see they still have this colorway. So it must be a popular. And then you get the little mini to go with it. So again, since I've gotten the circular sock machine, I have not hand knit. The pattern is the Vanilla Bean Striped pattern, and it's really more of a recipe than a pattern. I do fish lips kiss heels, and then I do just a simple rounded toe, and all of those patterns are linked to my project on my Ravelry page. So these were a gift for one of the ladies at work, and I'm sure she's totally forgot about them. So let's hope her feet haven't grown. And then that's machine washable, so they have been washed. And because I machine wash them and machine dry them, I don't need to block them. I just put them on blockers for showing them on the podcast. So, and I'll take pictures today of them too.
Oh, good.
So what else is off your needles if you've had a productive week?
Well, I have. My second hat this week, and yes, I realized, because remember, I have not blocked yet, was the Steinway hat. So if you want to look at this, it has beautiful texture.
Yes,
it's by Heidi Marie Robinson. It features, I would say 4 or 5 different sizes. I knit the toddler size, and I knit it for one of my youngest granddaughter. I think it should fit her. I did knit this on a size 8, and I don't think I'd go up a size on this one. I think it has plenty of stretch. It's in the Mint Rain Superwash worsted. And of course, it's for a little girl, so I'm going to put a pom-pom on the top.
They are going to be totally Bucky badgered, aren't they?
They are going to be Bucky badgered for at least one Christmas. I don't know about subsequent Christmases. Yeah. So I still have 2 more Bucky Badger themed hats to knit, and then we'll be finished with that family.
Oh, nice. And superwash? I can't remember.
It's superwash. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is. Very good. Okay.
Striping, superwash worsted.
And that makes sense for a toddler. So.
It does. And I would just say this, when I'm knitting with that yarn, I do not use my Haya Sharps or my lace Joy Goose, because the yarn does not have a tight twist. So it'll split. I use a blunter needle when I'm knitting that.
Like a Addy Turbo?
I do. Yeah, my Addy Turbo. Mm-hmm. You could probably also use a set like your Dreams that aren't too pointed. I would think that would catch those. At least it did with me. I had my Haya Sharps and took them off those needles and went to my Turbos.
Wow, very good. Well, my Mooncat is done.
Oh, Mooncat! Look at that dot. Oh, before we end, what was your final number of stitches?
Oh, I should have looked.
Row.
5, and just maybe not quite 520.
Joe Mama.
Yeah, I know. So it is by Kelly McClure, the Mooncat Shawl. And my yarn is, I brought because I just think this is a brilliant little.
Oh, look at that logo.
Cute?
Yes.
Stitch Together Studio. And it says in here, hand dyed somewhere in Iowa. And it's frugal fingering weight yarn.
What?
So ding ding, Iowa, where we were born and raised.
Yes.
And yeah, so you can see that it was nice. Now, I think last week I was just finishing up this dark gray, and I wanted a different lace pattern that I could torture when I blocked out. So here's where I went off pattern. The stitch count was right for the Hohi Locatelli 3-color cashmere lace. And I like it with that light color. I was going to do dark, but then I'm afraid you wouldn't see it. And then I tried 3 different borders, and I ended up just doing a garter border. And you can see I stretched it pretty hard because you get that. You can see where I take that weed whacker cord and put it through there. So that'll tighten up a little bit. I tried a picot edge. It fought with the lace, I thought.
Interesting.
I have one more. I see I have one more strand. You guys, it is huge. So it is way past my weight.
Did you happen to measure it?
No, but look at this. The edges curl. I love that. So, to Brianna, you shall go.
Let's see it.
I think I'll just love this.
I think you will. Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then if I can pull the edges out, they'll just tassel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Probably enough to go around my neck again if I wanted to. But yeah, I love crescents. I love long. I'll tell you though, when you start doing rows at 500, even on those 60-inch needles, just the weight of 500 stitches, even though it's fingering. And I bet it was taking me, I never timed it, 45 minutes, maybe.
Per row?
Yeah, per row. So, and that reminds me, I played a little bit of yarn chicken.
You did?
Yeah.
So did I this week. Let me see.
Here's how much I had left. That's my version of yarn chicken. Why don't you show them your version of yarn chicken?
Oh, Dawn. We have to make sure our nomenclature has the same definition.
Why? That takes all the fun out of it.
So, I only start and stop my alliteration scarf in the same place. There is my yarn chicken. Was that not perfect?
That is amazing.
Although Sparkly Glass Amy had me beat.
Oh, I saw her.
She played yarn chicken, and I bet she only had an inch.
I know.
But, well, Dawn, you're getting much better at yarn chicken.
So, 1,344 meters.
Yowzer.
And I still had 35 grams left of all three colors. So it was one of those where I'm sure the designer was torn because it was bigger than a 50 gram that you needed, less than 100 gram. So that'll be enough. You know, I bet this would make maybe a pretty 3-color cashmere cowl.
Ooh.
Or I've never marled. I'd be tempted to try maybe just a stocking hat or something marled to use up some of those. Yeah, otherwise you're going to get them. So,
well, those are enough for like 4 projects. So I'm sure you can come up with something.
In whose world, 4 projects? So that is all I have off my needles. But would you have more then, since you said you had a good
more? I do.
You go, girl.
My 45 hats by 45 designers. One of the lessons I learned today this week had to do with this hat.
Look at that.
This is the Kex Hat by Stephen West, knit in worsted. I literally went into my bits and bobs, my leftovers, my stash, just to find these colors. And I did not weigh each one, but I'm betting I used maybe 10 to 15 grams of each color. I don't know. But wonderful decrease pattern at the top of the hat.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Isn't
That's a great
it?
picture right there.
I really do like it. And so it was knit, the brim on size 6s, the body of the hat on size 7s. Now, here's what I learned this week. Number one, I purchased this pattern some time ago. So here is the paper pattern. It's the one that was put out by Stephen West. I could not get the pattern to work because if you look, these are beautiful knit stitch borders, I guess, between the sections.
Yeah.
And the pattern is written in such a way that mine did not look like that. I re-knit it, probably 7, 8, 9 times. So I went off pattern and I started playing with stitches until I could figure out how to get that chained border look. And I ended up doing it by knitting through the back loop.
Oh, I always figured those were slip stitches, but I guess not, huh?
Wow. Some of them are slipped, but not all of them.
Okay.
So I put those changes in my Ravelry notes, and this is going to a gentleman on my Christmas list, so I am not going to put a pom-pom. I actually wouldn't want one anyway because I sure like that decreased crown.
I agree. Yeah, make sure
that was my lesson.
Take pictures of that crown.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I put a couple heads in my Amazon cart, but I'm sure I can find them cheaper. Foam heads.
Oh, I get them at Michael's.
Oh, yeah, I'd have to travel to get to Michael's, but I could do that.
Well, they have one in Green Bay. Come visit.
Oh, hey. Turn down the sheets. I'll be there.
For a $2 hat, foam head.
I come do the same. Did you have anything else off your needles, sis?
No, but party in my mailbox. The pom-poms from Czechoslovakia have arrived.
I have not seen these. I cannot wait. Okay.
They shipped on April 1st and they came this week. So
Oh, look at you.
Aren't they fun? So I just put them all together. They come on long strings, but aren't they fun? Like, look at this one.
That. Oh, now that reminds me of Cruella de Vil.
Exactly. Yes. Fuzzy balls. You know when people used to hang fuzzy dice from their rearview mirror?
I remember.
Yeah, that would be something to do.
I should probably take mine down if they're no longer in vogue.
Yeah. So all kinds, pink, white, gray, black, taupe.
Oh, Dawn, look at, they have like things sticking
I
out.
know, and I haven't even done the blow dryer trick where you just get them to poof. But oh man, they are just something. But they're big, so really half the size of the hat.
That is so fun. So was it worth the wait, Dawn?
It was, but if you want them for Christmas, order now. And I will include the Etsy shop I bought them from. And the gentleman, when I emailed him and said that I hadn't got them yet, he says, well, wait a couple more weeks, and if you don't get them, I'll give you a full refund. So I thought that was very gracious. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Of course, that all happened right after the COVID hit. So maybe that's what caused a delay. But yeah, gosh, they're huge and they're fun and relatively inexpensive. I think maybe $3 or $4 each.
So on my, I don't know that the viewers know this, but I have a Frugalometer, and it is my gauge so that I can judge if the item is a frugal purchase or a frivolous purchase. So on my Frugalometer, a $3 per pom-pom would probably earn $2 signs out of a scale of 5.
Oh, so 1 being frugal, 5 being frivolous.
Absolutely.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, I would say probably $2 signs.
All right, I'll buy that.
Wait a minute. Was that $3 before or after postage?
I think it was, if you bought so many, it was free postage.
Okay, so I'd give it probably 2. I'd make it a.
Why would you not need a dozen if you're going to order? A dozen fuzzy balls.
There you go. Okay, Dawn.
I know, I can't.
Okay.
I can't go there today. I want to go there today, but I can't.
No, you can't. I have one more item off my needles.
Oh my gosh, go.
I did. And so this was my 4th hat. So this is number 14 that I've done. And this hat, just look at this. Is that not the most fun texture you've seen?
That is adorable. It's
called the Cluster Hat. And the designer is Sam Schwartz, a fellow Iowegian from Cedar Rapids.
That's not far from home, is it?
So it is, as you can see, 2 colors. I used Rowan's a pure wool superwash DK. And so it has just a typical, I would say, decrease. However, the texture goes right up to the crown, which I liked. I will say that I knit these, and I think it has plenty of stretch. I knit these on a size 7. I think it's just a bit small. Now, here's where I deviated from the pattern. The original pattern doubled the size of the brim, but the people in our family don't like flipping the brims over on their hats.
Oh, okay.
So I just split it in half so that this is the brim.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So there were my modifications. So that was number 14.
Good for you. And of course, lots of people are wanting that list.
And you know, I have it. I will put in there, I have been putting whether the pattern was free and or if it costs something, but I will put my Frugalometer icons in there as well. So if you're someone who needs to find value in certain things where you can spend a bit more in one area than another, hopefully that will guide you in that direction.
Yeah, I always think it's too, what are you knitting? How is it going to be worn? How's it going to be washed? All of those come into play when you decide what yarn you want to use.
And for my family, and you know this, Dawn, our family, we're just salt of the earth people. We throw everything in the washer. So when we knit for the family, or at least when I knit for the family, I want to make sure everything's machine washable.
especially hats, mittens, those kind of things that just get used.
Oh,
I've even decided that with socks. Just I throw socks in the wash machine. So.
oh, do you? Your hand knit
All
socks?
the time, just with the rest of my clothes. Yep.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wash them as often because you don't need to, but
Right.
yeah, it's kind of nice.
So I see you knitting. What are you knitting?
This is what's going to be my UFO. So UFO again, unfinished objects. Our goal is to do 12 this year. This is a cowl, and all I had on my list was brown and taupe cowl, and the yarn was in a bag, no pattern, nothing. So I am using the Hawthorne cowl. It is a free pattern on Ravelry by the Circle of Stitches, and I don't know if it's showing true to color. It's a chocolate brown.
Yes.
Is the solid, and then it's a variegated, and it's a Cascade 128 chunky.
Ooh.
And so I think I must have bought this when I was first starting brioche, and I wanted to mess around with 2-color brioche. And so it is nice. I'll tell you, if you're a new brioche knitter, pick 2 highly different yarns as far as contrast, and variegated is nice, but here's the lesson I've learned with this one. This color can't be in the variegated because you can't read your stitches then if you're just learning. So you won't know what color's the main color and what color's the contrast. So this yarn is starting to pool a little bit, which I'm not a fan of pooling, but let's see if I can show you. Do you see where I'm getting a whole dark section?
Yes, you are.
If you don't know how to read brioche, that's tough. But if you are learning, that is much easier to see when you're in the right, doing the right stitches at the right time.
Yes, that is very easy to see right there, Dawn.
And I think, again, Cascade yarn is fantastic for its price point.
I agree. And that would probably be a $2 sign on the Frugalometer too.
I would think so. And love free patterns. So I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head, I'd like to figure out a sequential pattern order for beginning briochers. So, when you think about brioche, it's 1 color or 2. It is either in the round or flat. And all of those have just different little techniques. And then you go from there into some of the shawls where now you're increasing and decreasing. But I think what I'm glad I did, and it took, again, a couple of years, is I learned to read brioche before I started the increases and decreases. So, so this will be my July UFO. I know it's a few days before July, but I needed something simple when we were knitting with the aunties last night. So again, it is the Hawthorne cowl by Circle of Stitches. And I haven't used wood needles in forever, but it's a size 10, and it was the only 24-inch size 10 that I had. And I would have loved to bought some new needles, but I know you banned me from buying for 2 whole weeks.
Well, today, dear sister, is the end of your 2 weeks. So tell us, have you been on a low fiber diet? Are you skinny yet?
I think you can see cheekbones. Yeah, you know what? It's been okay. Of course, everybody's teasing me about it, so that's kind of fun. But I've bought nothing. So for 2 weeks.
So, how was that? Was that hard?
It's, again, I think it's making me more intentional. I could have bought oodles of yarn, and I probably would have had I not been on this. But I have the yarn for the projects I'm doing. I have the yarn for the next projects I'm doing. So I don't need to be so impulsive. And that is just who I am. Mm-hmm. I chase sparkly things. But, and then this is the weekend that we were supposed to be at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse in Rochester, Minnesota, but they're doing it virtually this year. And today's the marketplace. So I called Visa this morning and said, up that limit, man. No.
I really am still alive. I'm sure you probably thought I lost my card, but I'm here, so don't stop any charges.
Somebody sent me one of those funny little things on Facebook or something that said, the UPS guy talked to your husband today to make sure you're okay because he didn't deliver anything. Yeah. So
Oh, that is so you. That is just so you.
This should work up quick. And I think it's always good for me to have, because we're doing so much Zoom as part of the virtual ZK at home. I need stuff that I can chat or look at things on the screen and still knit. So this makes a perfect project for them. So what are you working on? What's on your needles?
Why, now that you've asked? I cast on hat number 15. I am knitting this out of, again, Cascade 220 Superwash in the Jet colorway. It's out of my stash. It is the Splendid Squares hat by Debbie Traynor. And essentially, it can be knit as a full-blown stocking hat with a pom-pom, or it can be knit more like a beanie. And the gentleman that I'm knitting this for, I think, would prefer the beanie. So I'm just now on the brim. I think I have one more round to go, and I'll be ready to start the body of the hat.
You are really doing great on that. 45 hats, 45 designers.
Well, I think, like you, I'm trying to be intentional. I am a gift knitter. I don't knit a whole lot for myself. We're from a large family. This makes it something that I can give to people. And I was going to mention this very quickly, Dawn. When I talked earlier about my values, I've told several people this throughout my life. The most valuable thing that I can give anyone is my time. Some people have money that they can give, or talents, or things that they can do. The most precious thing I have is time, because boy, oh boy, there's just such a limited amount of it. So that's why I've decided for me to be a gift knitter. And you're a gift knitter too, in a very different way, Dawn. You knit for a lot of people at work and such. So yeah, that's what's on my needles. So I'm going to work very hard to finish 45 hats, 45 designers. I already have my next challenge planned out. It's going to be another little adventure, an experiment, if you will.
Very good. So the last thing on my needles is I continue to work on the Melanie Berg Together Apart shawl. It's in a wine color, so it is Cascade Heritage Sock. I think it is called the wine colorway. And I haven't knit much. You can see where my stitch marker is from last week. I have done so much Zoom this week, I can't do lace.
Oh, you can't. Another thing you've learned.
Yeah. And so maybe, I don't even know. I bet I'm a couple weeks off. I was hoping to finish this in June, but I may not. But I'm done with work now, so I have a few weeks off before I have to do anything there. So I might get some concentrated time on that this week. And then all the July shawls cast on when I'm done. So 2 for sure, and I'm thinking about a 3rd. Now that's not realistic at all, but it sounded good when was like, do you want to do it? Sure, sign me up. Yeah, so that is, anything else you're working on?
I just started this morning caking my Lorna's laces for my next project. I'll have 2 projects going. So in a short amount of time, I have 8 baby gifts to knit. 8. 8. Oh my goodness. So this is the first cardigan I'm going to knit. It's from the Sock Yarn One Skein Wonders book, and it's called Sock It To Me. And the reason I chose to use this one is it is sized up to 6 months. So that way I can get, I think I have to knit 5 or 6 of these. 4, maybe 4, but I can't remember. I have it all written down. So I was hoping to have it on my needles, but I was fighting with my Swift.
That gets frustrating too, doesn't it?
Well, I think I'm going to change Swifts. And for those of you who may be unfamiliar with that term, a Swift is a device that we use, kind of gives you the impression of an umbrella. You push it up and it expands. We put hanks of yarn, which is yarn that hasn't been wound up. It's just kind of been looped and twisted. We put it on the Swift and it spins so that we can cake it up into a more manageable shape for knitting. And I have a tabletop Swift, and you know, Dawn, I think because of its construction, I might have to just buy a new one like yours.
Oh, yeah.
And one that attaches. So anyway, hopefully I'll have that finished by next week, and you'll just get to see the sweater.
Speaking of finish, the finish fix or frog it, Cal. You guys, unbelievable the projects that people are either finishing, altering, fixing. I am so inspired. That is in our Ravelry group. So if you go into Ravelry, there's a group tab, and then click on the tab and type in Frivolous and Frugal. I am so impressed. You talk about inspirational, the number of projects that people are getting done is amazing. Or even the ones are frogging because they've just decided that it's not them anymore. So last night when we did Knitting with the Aunties, it was time to draw another winner. So we just randomly drew from the last comment when we drew a couple weeks ago till last night. And the winner is Math Patty.
Yay!
So we know Patty, she's an amazing knitter and a good friend from Rochester, Minnesota. So I will let her know she won. And I will put together some yarn and a couple of little other, as you say, accoutrements. How was that for my syllabication? And of course, I will put it in a Ziploc bag, which just about kills me. But
Dawn, they're a coveted item.
Coveted where? Okay. What happens during the zombie apocalypse? The real zombie apocalypse? Do they go away?
No, they will endure. You can't kill a Ziploc bag. So I'll be able to see my knitting while the rest of you are trying to find it in all sorts of bags. I'll be able to pick it right up and go, here it is.
Oh, very good. So thank you. That'll continue. And also, you know, we hit 600 subscribers on YouTube. So maybe we'll, how about if we do it, just a little giveaway for that too, if people just want to comment. But here's what I want. Here's what I've been thinking and like kind of what I've been learning. If you are going to use yarn from your stash for an upcoming project. So I want to do the Festival of Stitches. It's a pattern by Lisa Hannes, and it's done with 3 solids. And I am just been spending way too much time looking at 3 color kits or combinations. Mm-hmm. And I bet I spent another hour or so last night just looking at all the vendors that are going to be at ZK today. And I realized that I have lovely yarn in my stash. But do you mix yarn brands in a shawl? So for instance, I think I'm going to use 2 colors of Ba yarn that you gave me as a gift, Penny, a few years ago, but I need the 3rd color. Do I order Ba in the 3rd color, or would you mix it with, like, let's say I have some Leading Men Fiber Arts, or I have a Cascade sock, or whatever. Do you mix your bases?
I do. But here is my criteria for mixing bases. I make sure it has the same construction. So if I'm using 4-ply, it's 4-ply. If it's got a nice twist, it's got a nice twist, as well as composition. So I don't know what that Ba is. I don't think it's a superwash merino, is it?
I just happen to have it right here.
Oh, okay.
It is 100% superwash merino.
So I'd combine it with another superwash merino, 100%, because that way when you wash it, it's going to respond very similarly, I would think.
Okay.
It would. Yeah.
I would not have thought about that. So I'm not going to use the singles with this then, because this is a high twist.
Yeah, and remember that when we wash and block, we want, or at least this is what I'm thinking, so please jump in the thread and correct me, but we want the tension and the elasticity of the fabric to be the same. So if we have a fiber that doesn't have the elasticity of merino, it may distort the patterns in that shawl.
You are brilliant. Okay, so what do you think? Woo!
That is so you, Dawn.
It is. I just got to get over it. And a black. I want a black or a super dark gray. But I didn't realize these are 115 gram skeins. Sweet.
Yay.
So that'll be a July shawl. But I guess lesson learned is there has to be like a Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home kind of theme here. But I had it in my stash. And so, yeah, so that is frugal.
It is frugal. And going along with your no place like home, why is it that we sometimes fight those colors that are us?
I know.
You know, you are definitely a red, black, white person or dark gray with bright pink. That is who you are. And I have my own color palette. Why do I sometimes just fight that? I don't know.
Because I fight the trend. You don't fight that as much as I do.
I don't.
But, you know, the trend right now seems to be that beautiful gold, like honey gold.
Mm-hmm.
I always remind me of like the Iowa Hawkeye color sometimes.
Yeah.
But, gosh, I never wear gold.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather wear platinum.
Of course you would. Oh,
I don't, but I would like to. Yeah, so I guess what I'm learning is don't hesitate to go through your stash again. And I have to look at it. You know, it's one thing to look on my stash on Ravelry, which is not complete. But once you get that yarn in your hand again, you realize how much you love it. And it's just sitting there. So, and I have some lovely, lovely yarn that I should use because I bought it because I liked it. So. Yeah, so that's kind of what I learned this week. So,
well, my learning is a bit different than yours. I learned how to do the knit to below stitch. That's what I used right here on the oh heavens, it's going to come to me here in just a minute. Cluster hat. I'd never knit that before, and I've just learned that sizes vary between designers. What I thought was going to be an adult size hat or a toddler or a child ended up not being, even when gauge matched. So I'm just learning to slow down a little bit more and make sure that I know what I'm doing and make adjustments along the way.
yeah, and I think, as we said before, that comes with confidence.
Yeah, I think so.
And a little bit of guts, I suppose.
Well, yeah. And after all, you can always rip it out.
Hey, and you know, Squirrel, what I realized you can do on Ravelry, you know, when you put your project on Ravelry and then you can link it to the pattern, underneath there's a tab or a plus sign or something that says other patterns used so that you incorporated. So like for my Mooncat, that's the lead pattern, but I also got to put in there the 3-color cashmere shawl because I used the lace off that. So that's a feature maybe a lot of people were aware of. I had no idea. But that way, if people are looking at it, they'll be able to see which patterns you used as part of your project.
Now, are you going to go back and do that for your socks?
No.
So people know which toes you did and which heels you did?
Probably not. And most of my socks now are on the machine.
Okay.
So
that is a good feature. I appreciate you sharing that because I didn't know about it.
Well, and that gives credit to the designers too.
Absolutely.
That you did. So, all right. Well, sis, that's all I have for this week.
And time is up.
Oh, it is. Okay, cool.
Yes, ma'am. So one other thing, I know you're going to tell us how to get in touch with us on social media, but we would like to encourage you to provide us with feedback, especially if you give us a thumbs down on YouTube. If you could let us know what about the episode you did not care for, that helps us because we do reflect on what we do. And if there's some change that we can make, we'd be happy to do that. So would you let everybody know how to get in touch with us, Dawn?
Of course. So on the social medias, we're the Frivolous and Frugal Podcast on Instagram and Facebook and Ravelry. Obviously, we're Frivolous and Frugal on YouTube as well. Now, I don't know why I say this, but all podcasters do, so I'm going to say it. If you would hit the subscribe button and like us, I think that helps somehow. Who knows how? We're not sure. Yeah. And again, feel free to, on this episode, comment on whether or not you mix bases when you're doing multicolored projects. I would love to know that. We've learned so much from your comments and just get the biggest bang out of each and every one of them. So, yeah. All right. So I think that's all.
Well, this wraps up episode 18, and it's our hope that your week will be a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in episode 19.
Bye. Bye.